Hello, everyone, and I got to give her, oops, as I pull this out, mad props for at least attempting the last name.
Can you get it?
No, let's see.
Oh, this one.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, and I want to thank Christina and all the other panelists for their comments earlier today and having me here. As was just mentioned, I am Client Services Manager with International Trade of Virginia Economic Development Partnership, and it's been so great to hear the comments from the SBA and from the Ex-Im Bank, and they have sort of indirectly plugged us for the state resources to help companies in increasing their international sales. Now, I know when she stands up, it's going to be about time for me to wrap things up, but I'm not really quite sure how long that will be, so we'll just get as much talking done as we can. How many of you all have a Virginia business? Very good. And so the rest of you might be D.C. or Maryland, I would assume, something thereabouts. Okay, so predominantly I'm going to talk about what we have in Virginia, but keep in mind there are in Maryland, there's going to be some type of international development office as well. And if you go to the website SIDOamerica.org, that is S as in state, I as in international, D development, O office, SIDOamerica.org. That is a website that has a directory listing for all state international development offices, and you will find the equivalent of our Office of International Trade for your respective region. And I know that earlier there was a question about how do you do your research. Judith mentioned earlier about trade missions. We call them market visits. And Virginia actually has money that we give to companies to help them in these endeavors. Now, what D.C. may do or Maryland may do, that's where you'll have to actually contact their offices. And I was not in earlier in the day. How many of you all are service exporters or service companies? Okay, just a handful. How many manufacturers? Other things we fall in there? This booklet here, it's sort of our annual report. It talks more in depth about the programs and services that we offer. And then our calendar here also showcases companies that export. Did you all know that Virginia exports mosaic marble tile designs to Italy? Isn't that impressive? I was like, wow, I had no idea that Virginia exports mosaic marble tiles to Italy. Did you all know that in, I believe it was 2007, Virginia exported over 6 million tulip bulbs to the Netherlands? You would never think that. Virginia exports some absolutely amazing things. We have gourmet chocolates from Fredericksburg that end up in Harrods of London, and they're featured. I have the hardest job in the world. I have to go to the chocolate factories and eat the gourmet chocolates. I have to go to the tortilla chip manufacturers and eat the chips hot off the line. And, you know, it's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. I'm there for you. But I mentioned we have money. And I'm going to have to give mad praise to the SBA, because the SBA is giving out money through the STEP grant. How many of you all have heard of the STEP grant? I have, because I'm writing the proposal, and I just submitted our second draft yesterday. So we're looking forward to getting lots and lots and lots of money to help. There we go. I like that. And I know that the SBA indicated they were looking to make 55 awards, which would be the 50 states, D.C., and 4 territories. So with that in mind, I know for Virginia companies, if you are in the IT industry or advanced manufacturing or the energy sector, I've got $18,500 of direct assistance to take you overseas to do one-on-one matchmaking at CeBIT, or the Advanced Manufacturing Fair in Hanover, Germany, and then send you to the Conference on Trade. And for something such as your cultural training, we even offer reimbursement and assistance. Now, obviously, if we're going to Hanover, Germany, we might not be so focused on cultural sensitivity to the Chinese market, but we have other programs that we help reimburse for the costs of that. So I mentioned the STEP program, and specifically Virginia is applying for this. It's going to be about, by the time we add in our 25% match, that's about $500,000 of direct. That isn't even reimbursement. The companies that we're going to be working with, you want your website translated, we will pay. Now, approving that SBA approves my grant. So, Richard, how much pull do you have to get Theodora's grant proposal approved?
They're all on my desk waiting for signature.
Okay, I like the sound of that. And so we will be working with companies to translate their websites, to review legal contracts, to take them in country, to meet one-on-one with the companies. But the SBA did a sneaky little thing in there. And Richard said earlier that the silos are coming down and that now you're starting to see the interagency cooperation. And part of the SBA guidelines requires that we work with federal resources. And so he mentioned earlier the SBA Export Business Planner. If you haven't seen that, you must find it. You must go online, you must save it, and you need to use that as your go-to resource. And even what we're going to be doing in the STEP grant program for the Commonwealth, that's one of the first things that I'm going to say, okay, have you gone and downloaded your SBA Export Business Planner? And we're going to be utilizing resources such as the XM Bank, all of the, because we're not supposed to duplicate existing resources. So they want to make sure that the money that we are given goes towards actual direct assistance that isn't currently offered through other means. So if you're not in Virginia, look to see what DC or Maryland is doing through the different programs and services that they offer. Now, we also offer through our regular services. Say you're not in advanced manufacturing, you're not in IT or energy. There are other services. We take companies in country. Now, you do have to pay a fee to participate in a market visit, but we do all the due diligence and the advanced work. We set up the meetings for you one-on-one. We have a valet program, which stands for Virginia Leaders in Export Trade, and that offers companies up to $15,000 over the course of 2 years. The money isn't the important part. The expertise in developing your international business plan is the important part. We pair companies with private sector companies that have the expertise, such as a service provider here with the Chinese cultural consulting, to make sure you don't commit a major gaffe. But we also work with marketing experts and the translators and the attorneys, the CPAs, and they will offer discounted services. They are international business service provider experts. And over the course of the 2 years, we also give them the $15,000 in addition to the pro bono services to help them go in country, to help them have an attorney review their legal contracts. And companies that have participated in our valet program have recognized during the course of the 2-year program a 44% increase in international sales. How many of you all would like a 44% increase in international sales? And the survey further found that upon an additional 2 years, they continue to have an additional 44% increase in sales. So, I don't have a lot of time. I got the 3 minutes and that's it. So I think I'm hitting my 3-minute mark. I'll tell you one story of a company. It's a service provider out in Virginia Beach, VSD LLC. Their video is on our website, exportvirginia.org. They went through the valet program. They went on a market visit with us to Saudi Arabia. They are a service exporter, okay? As a result of their market visit to Saudi Arabia, they have landed numerous multi-million-dollar contracts. They have increased their labor force by 130%, and now international sales account for over 60% of their overall sales. So definitely, if you are in a service export company, if you have a product or service, we want to help you export it. And if you're not in Virginia, sorry, we can't help you, but there is a plethora of different resources available through the federal agencies. Use them, find your local offices, and get all you can. So, if you have any questions, sorry I don't have more time, but make sure you pick up a calendar, make sure you get the annual report, and I did print off China fast facts for you that are on our website. So if you are interested more about China and the Chinese market, it's more skewed towards a Virginia perspective as opposed to the U.S. perspective, but it does have just some facts and figures about China in general.